An administrative review into an incident involving an off-duty police dog has concluded. The review included testing of the dog, a Belgian Malinois, inquiries into the actions of the off-duty handler leading up to the dog biting of a 12-year-old boy, and a review of all of our CPS procedures has been concluded. The incident on March 30th occurred around 6 p.m., as we all know, when police service dog Marco broke free from the fenced yard of his handler in Aspen Hills. He encountered children playing on the street. One of the children unfortunately ran from the dog, at which point the dog gave chase into the nearby home of the child, where the dog bit the child's leg. The boy's father, who was in the home, attempted to get the dog off of the child as our canine unit handler ran into the home to assist. The handler was able to secure the dog, remove the dog to his home, and return to help render first aid assistance. The boy was transported to the hospital where he was treated and released. Following the incident, the dog was immediately removed from service and secured at our CPS kennels. As part of the administrative review, the dog was tested by supervisors of the canine unit with independent observation by officials from the Calgary Community Standards bylaw. The dog underwent socialization as well as obedience and control testing. In all cases, PSD Marco tested above standard. He also completed a recertification, which is within the canine unit and typically done on an annual or as needed basis, and again tested above standard. Despite the test results, the service is determined that in the best interest of the dog and the community to return PSD Marco to the originating broker in the United States. The performance of duty by the handler remains under investigation, in this case by our professional standards section. And once the bylaw matters have been concluded, the member's conduct review will be completed under the Police Act. The handler currently remains in the canine unit. As mentioned by the chief, the service takes full responsibility for this incident and would like to reassure the public that every precaution is being taken by the handlers to ensure these animals are within secure environments at their home. These animals require a very high level of socialization when they are off duty as part of their bonding with their handlers within the residential neighborhoods in Calgary. Police service dogs, as you all know, are a critical part of the Calgary Police Service and help keep us safe and keep our officers safe by tracking and helping to apprehend hundreds of offenders every year. And at this point, I'll take any questions.
Do you guys know what would have provoked the dog? Like, did the child do something specifically?
It's my understanding that, as I indicated, one of the children ran. So an assumption at this point is that stimulated PSD Marco to follow that child, which happened to be our victim.
Is that an automatic trigger for the animal?
Not necessarily. So again, that's, as I said, we can only speculate, unfortunately.
It says that the dog handler is still in the canine unit.
Yes.
What is he doing in the interim? Does he have a new dog, or is he helping in other capacities?
He doesn't have a new dog yet. He will. At this point, he is performing patrol duties on his regular rotation, as well as backing up his canine unit members when they deploy with their police service dogs.
why is the dog being sent away specifically if it tested above average and has been recertified?
You know, it took a lot of reflection to come to that conclusion. Out of fairness for PSD Marco, it's believed that in his best interest to resurrect his career and to get a restart. He was born to work, and he deserves to work, and he also deserves a fresh start. We believe that by staying within Calgary, there would be that cloud over him and over the handler that would deploy with him. And it just wasn't fair for the trust of the community, the trust of the K-9 unit members, and for PSD Marco. So for him to resurrect his career now somewhere in a law enforcement community, I think is the best that we can hope for him.
So there is a chance that he will be able to continue working. This isn't like a death sentence.
My understanding, talking to the broker, is that there are multiple agencies that have already expressed interest. So.
Is there concern that this might happen again?
No. When you look at the history of the K-9 unit, I believe this is the third incident, excuse me, where one of our animals has gotten out of the control of their handler, off duty, and you know, we take it very seriously, and we've personally reviewed all of our standard operating procedures and all of our course training standards, and I'm satisfied that we've done everything we can to protect the community, to protect our handlers, and to protect our animals.
Is part of the reason why he's being sent back to the broker is that he's tied to this handler, and the handler lives next door to a child the dog bit?
Well, that definitely was part of the thought process, for sure. But even if we did consider keeping PSD Marco and redeploying him with another handler, which is a resocialization and a retesting process, and you know, there's a lot of logistics behind that. But ultimately, what do we gain from that? There could still be that angst with the public and whatever new community PSD Marco was to move into. So in the spirit, as I said, for PSD Marco to succeed, I think this is the best option for him.
Are you able to provide us with the name of the officer? We've got some reports. That's Constable Glover, is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
And how old of an animal was PSD Marco?
PSD Marco, I believe, was just under 3 years old.
How many years do they serve on average?
Oh, it'd be between 6 and 8 if all goes well.
So
They
still
work.
got some good service years left.
Absolutely, you bet.
Do you think Marco will know, like, will feel an emotional response to this, like being sent away? Because I understand that they live with their handlers to kind of gain that bond. So how difficult could it be for him to, you know, get that again with another handler?
Well, I think there'll be a natural period of time, very similar to rescue dogs. You know, you adopt a dog from one of our local agencies, and there is a socialization period of time when you get used to each other. And but he's young enough, he definitely spirited enough, and he's a professional, and the bond will happen, for sure.
It's my understanding that the family of the young boy is uncomfortable with the idea of another service dog being in the neighborhood. Is there any way, other than the handler moving neighborhoods, that this wouldn't be a possibility? Like, do CPS dogs stay at the kennel if this is the case? Or?
Yes, we have a kennel facility, but we have assured the family that there will not be a police dog staying within that community, within that neighborhood.
So when Constable Glover is issued a new service dog, does that mean he has to move?
We can't force anybody to move, but we will look at logistics. We will look at alternatives to how we house that dog for socialization factors and for bonding with Constable Glover.
Will that policy apply blanket for the entire CPS K-9 unit, that dogs will be sent to the CPS kennel to stay overnight or when the officers are off shift?
No, we're going to continue. We did look at that. as a practice, which we have done since the inception of the K-9 unit. The benefit of the socialization far outweighs one-off. And the last thing we want is to have robotic dogs working our streets. They become a danger to the handlers, they become a danger to the public. And is that really a quality of life that we want to be a part of for the animal? So socialization, being at home, enhancing those procedures, enhancing the safety within the community is the direction that we took.
How do you actually reassure the family other than just talking to them? Like, it's pretty traumatic. to have their young
Extremely
child.
traumatic. There is no question. The terror that young boy and the family, the mom and dad, would have experienced, you wouldn't want on anyone. We will be there when they want us to be there. Our victims assistant unit is helping them. I know Constable Glover is anxious to extend himself to help in any way he can, but we're allowing the family time, and we'll be there when they're ready.
Any more questions?
Sorry, one other one.
Yeah.
Where exactly is the broker? And is it some distance away from Calgary, or is it in Okotoks, or is it in Vancouver?
In the United States,
Okay.
yes.
Are you able to provide us with the name?
No.
And that broker, do they provide just police dogs for service around North America, or just Calgary, or
Worldwide.
worldwide?
Yeah, they're international for law enforcement and military deployments.
And CPS has had a contract with them for many years.
Yes, them as well as others, but yes, a very good relationship with this broker.